Yo guys, it's your boy Rory here, and today we're gonna be coaching Dope Luna. Dope Luna, introduce yourself, please.
Yo, I'm Dope Luna. It's a pleasure to be here to get some good training in.
And can you state your rank and region for me?
I am currently Diamond 1 and NA East, North America Eastern.
Alright, so I just had Dope Luna play a game here for us, and we're gonna go over the replay. If you are within this rank or looking to, get better or even have the same type of gameplay as he does, and make the same mistakes he is, make sure you're paying attention and following along. And yeah, let's get straight into it. I'm gonna have you pause and play whenever I feel is a good place to stop and go.
Roger.
Also, by the way, he was recording and lagging in this replay, so okay. Alright, you can go ahead and pause it there. So I'm not saying that, everyone hits that shot, but if you're gonna rank up, you're gonna want to be able to actually score that.
Right, yeah.
And I actually provide like everyone like certain training packs to it, and I'll even have that in the description of this video too for you guys to download as well. Basically, it helps you with like your shooting, your backboard defense, all types of stuff like that. But it helps you with like certain angles that you could be making like that. I know that was like kind of an easy shot, but I think all you had to really do there was flip forward and you should have been okay.
Right.
But after we're done recording here, I'll send you all the replays and the things for that. So
Okay.
but yeah, I think that working on your shooting there could be a good thing for you to do, just so the more shots that you're at least putting up against the backboard or putting onto their target of the net will help you better rank up and make it easier for your teammate. So
Okay.
another thing I kind of noticed right off the start as well, you use a lot of boost for no reason. Try to tone that down a little bit. Maybe always keep like, I always tell everybody like the best way to go about it is to keep 40 in the tank. And if you can't, try to at least keep it between 30 and 40. That way you have enough boost to either one, save the ball or recover back to your net if the ball's coming back super fast, right? So just try to keep at least 30 to 40 in your tank at all times. And if you find yourself using a lot of boost for no reason, there is ways to fix it. And we'll go over that further in the replay here, because there is a couple times where I noticed that you had no boost and you were kind of like struggling to get back.
Right.
So you can go ahead and play it once again. So like an instance for right there, like if you go back in that replay and watch right there. So we're going for another thing I should mention to you as well is when you drive away from that ball like that just to go get 100 boost, it's not a good habit. And honestly, right there, you should have just stayed with the ball instead of going and getting the 100, because you gotta keep in mind you have a little pad right there you could have picked up. You see like where the ball is kind of rolling in front of the ball, or
Yeah.
little pad to your right.
Yep.
So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, right here on my screen you can see that my mouse is hovering over this pad. If he would have at least like caught the ball there and drove over that pad, he would have had 30 boost to do something with, so he could either like flicked it or caught that other guy that is off there in the corner, and getting that boost, he could have had maybe a shot at the net or possibly even a goal.
So pads will be your better option when like 100s are out of the play. For example, the ball's in midfield. It would be unreasonable to go to get full boost when the ball's in midfield, right? That'd be considered running away from the play.
That is true, because unless they're not challenging, then it's okay to go and get the boost, because then you have more time. But you gotta also keep in mind they have a teammate as well, and their teammate's gonna be challenging you. So you want to make sure that you're not just giving up free possession when you could have an easy goal, or even just apply pressure to their backboard and then have your teammate score it, right? Because you guys already have one of the guys beat. All you had to do was get it past this last guy, and because you went for that mid boost, you kind of gave up the possession right there.
Okay, I see.
So I think something to take away from this, and for anyone else who's watching, is to use less boost and make sure that you're picking up little pads instead of going for 100 boost all the time. Because especially at the higher ranks, in 2s and 3s, you're gonna get caught without any boost at all, and you're gonna pay for it. And I guess it kind of applies for 1s too. Like once you reach like a certain rank, they like to take all your boost in demo at that. So just keep that in mind. Something to go off of. And if you need to, go ahead and write that down or put it in your notes. You know, just to be more mindful of your boost and when you're going for the boost and what type of boost you're going for, like a little pad or a 100 boost, right?
You ready?
Oh, yep, I'm ready when you are. So another thing I noticed as well is your recoveries. You know, you really should have been going back there just in case that didn't end up well for your teammate. You know, if your teammate has the ball, I try to always follow either, you know, behind my teammate or at least at a good distance where he can get it to me.
Okay.
I don't really know what you're doing up here on this. There's like certain times where it's okay to do this where you're waiting up, but keep in mind you're only at like Diamond 1 or Plat 3 or something like that, and people at this rank have no idea how to even hit the ball. So at this point, you're just better off rotating straight back to your net, or at least rotating to where your teammate can get you the ball better.
Okay, yeah, I think I might have trusted him a little too much there.
Yeah, honestly, it's good to trust your teammates as well, but I think when it comes to, you know, wanting to rank up and play it safer, you have to just, you know, go back and make sure that you're there just in case.
Okay.
So that's a good way of playing. I'm glad you have trust in your teammates, because I don't have trust in any of my teammates. So but yeah, you can go ahead and play it again. Just want to point that out. So it looks like he was trying to leave that there for you. Unfortunately, like, if that happens, I want you to go back. Wait, okay, you can hear me, right? Okay, just want to make sure. So.
Oh yeah, he was leaving it for me.
Yeah, so like I said, you kind of have to like make sure that if you're gonna be up, you're gonna go for it, because if not, you know, this is kind of bad where he was trying to give it to you, even though his pass wasn't the greatest. But if he's trying to give it to you, honestly, your best bet at this point is just to go for it and help him, and not drive up so far. Because look, he has 2 guys on him, right?
Right.
So he's gonna get pressured no matter what. And if they see you up, that could be a free goal for them. If let's just say that change go guy goes for it and he hits it past your teammate, most likely it's going to go into your corner, and then Jay's going to have an easy free shot on you. So
yeah, that's true.
You just got to keep that in mind. But yeah. And this brings you to another thing as well. When you're coming back and you're rotating back, make sure you're going in as straight as a line as possible and picking up the little pads along the way. Because again, right, you want to make sure you're at least always having as much boost as you can by not getting out of position and getting it, you know?
Yeah.
So at this point, you were better off just going straight back and picking up the 3 little pads right there through the middle. That would have been more beneficial for you than rotating all the way outwards, and especially turning off your camera. And another thing I always try to tell everybody, right, is when they are going back, make sure they always have their ball cam on. That way they know where the ball is at all times. If you have to turn it off for a second just to look to see where the boost is, that's okay. But make sure that when you're going back, you want to make sure that you know where the ball is at all times. And then this kind of brings you into another thing as well. I noticed throughout this whole replay and throughout the whole last game that you played, you weren't using your right stick to look around. And I don't really know why people don't do it, because it really does help you, especially like if you're a ones player and a twos player. You know where everybody is at all times if you're using your right stick. So let's just say like one of the guys are coming for a demo on you and you didn't click in behind you to use your left stick. It would have been more beneficial for you to know, like, hey, this guy's gonna come and challenge me, right?
Right.
So just make sure that you're doing that, and make sure you're gonna implement your left stick a little bit more. So so just a question, do you know how to wave dash or anything like that yet?
We're talking about like touching the two back tires on the ground and then like kind of speed driving. Oh no, you say wave dash like off kickoff, right?
Yeah, here I can give you an example in game what wave dash I'm talking about.
You'd be like where you just turn your wheel slightly and then
Okay, so I know it's kind of zoomed in here, but sorry for the guys on the recording, but wave dash is pretty much like this, right?
Gotcha, okay. And you're just pressing X and pulling back a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. So like, there's a couple ways you can do it, right? Let's just say like you're on the wall awkward. And let's just say you're kind of like this, right? And the ball's coming like maybe off. I don't know. Let me see. Let me like spawn the ball on top of me real quick. So let's just say the ball's coming my way, right? And you're kind of awkward, right? You can jump up off the wall and then wave dash on the ground to catch yourself better. And then, you know, follow it from there, right?
Right, okay.
So that's one way of doing it, is wave dashing off the wall. And then the other way is wave dashing on the ground, which is what you see most commonly. And this helps you in case maybe you got bumped, right? And you're like flying this way, where you can always just catch yourself.
Okay.
So doing stuff like that will definitely help you. But we'll go back to your stream here. And that's how you wave dash. So just in case you don't know how to wave dash, I'll show you one more time. You want to jump up and then press forward on your stick and then press A again if you're on Xbox.
Okay.
So 1 and then X, right?
Okay.
If you're on PS4. And just for people who are watching right now, all you gotta do is jump and then press forward on your stick and then press A again. That's all you gotta do. And you gotta do it within like a 1.5 second time frame, I think it is, before your flip isn't there anymore. So like if we wait right here, right? Let's see if I can get it. So you see how like I couldn't really like wave dash there anymore because I waited too long to use my flip?
Yeah.
So make sure that you're using it within the time frame that it requires you to.
Okay.
Alright. So back to the replay. Okay. Okay, so right there it looks like you hesitated a little bit. Maybe
yeah, I did.
Try not to like hesitate there, because one of two things is gonna happen, right? You can either take a 50 in front of your net right there, like you did this could have been a 50. I think maybe just try not to hesitate next time, because you were the closest to the ball there, right? And that guy was further away than you were. So make sure when you're in front of your net there, because that's also obviously a danger zone, right? All he has to do is win a 50 over your car, and then that's done.
Yep.
So make sure next time when you're right there, just, you know, either kind of control the ball more and not get so nervous, or take it and then hit it off to the side. That way he couldn't, you know, go for it. So like if you play this right here, you had an opportunity right here just to hit it to the right.
Yeah.
Just before he jumped for it. So unfortunately, it did concede into a goal, but it's okay. This is a learning process, and you'll get it eventually. If you could skip to a part in the replay where you were going at the start, because I did notice like that you were having trouble with your starts. Or your kickoffs, I'm sorry. I like to call them starts. I don't know, I know no one else does, but...
You want where I'm going for the ball?
Yeah, where you're the one going for the ball.
Okay, I think it would be...
Maybe it's after that orange goal that was scored, if you go up more. One more. One more. Right there. Okay, see, I think you went here, yeah. So, just go back where they scored, yeah. Okay. Right here. Okay, so you did go for the ball here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, your start definitely does need some work. One thing I would do, instead of using up all your boost at the start, I want you to go back for me. You can do one of two things, right? So, you know how I just showed you that wave dash?
Right.
You could start trying to learn that kickoff first.
Okay.
Or you can just be simple for now, because or how like confident are you at flipping at the ball at the start?
Very confident, very confident. I normally win my 50s. Just the lag definitely was not in my favor for the kickoffs.
All right, so let me just show you something really quick.
Okay.
On my end here, on my stream. And for anyone whose kickoffs aren't that great, here's a better way to kind of get better at it. So what you're gonna do, right? Are you watching my stream?
Yes.
Alright, so let's just say you're going for the ball here at the start. Let me turn off my... It's the boost. Okay, 33 boost I think is what we start off with, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so let's just say I got 33 boost at the start, right? I'm going for the ball at the start. You already, as soon as you're driving here, you're already picking up 12 more boost, right? So keep that in mind when you're going. But at this point, I always tell everybody to at least have like 12 boosts in their tank at the start. That way they have more to recover on. So a better way, instead of driving it straight at the ball like you did and using all your boosts here like you did, would be to, let me see if I can get a corner side start again. Okay. So you know how I used all my boost there, right?
Yep.
So if you use all your boost right there, your chances of being able to recover better are, you know, cut by 50%. And it's going to be a lot harder for you to catch back up to the ball if you don't have any boost at the start, right? So this applies for 1s, 2s, not really 3s because you have 2 teammates behind you all the time. But, you know, you can't always count on that teammate that is there for you in 2s. So the best way to practice this and not use so much boost at the start is just by literally just boosting here and then flipping, right? You see how much power I generated off of that? Just by going there at the start and only using like, I don't know, let me see. So let's just say you start right here, right?
Yep.
And you boost. It's a lot faster than driving all the way and boosting. See how much faster it is when you're flipping instead of boosting?
Yeah.
Like straight at the ball.
So when you grab the first boost, is that when you want to flip?
Nope. So the best way to flip, right? I always try to tell everybody, flip at least within this. Oh my gosh, I forgot I reset my goal shot. Try to do this, like, try at least flip within this area here.
Okay.
And then maybe even get one more flip at the end just to 50 the guy if you have to. Sometimes I like to jump depending on, you know, how high the ball is going or what his car angle looks like, but that's for a different time. We just want to work on your start itself.
Okay.
So when I go for the ball right here, right, I drive past his first boost and then I flip right in the middle. Okay.
Okay.
And if you do it right, you should end off with like 20 to 25 boosts, just with this kickoff only, right? You don't want to use any more boosts than that. But if
is there a better way to, like, for example, say if the enemy team's like he's driving at the ball at the start, like at a kind of weird angle, could I like switch up my angle to where, like, to predict the pinch to where it goes towards their side?
Yeah, you can always adjust your car like last second, like, right? Like, so if I like flip this way, you see how like I stop right here, but like,
yeah.
Let's see if I get that start again. So like, let's just stay right, like I'm flipping, right? You can always like adjust your car like last second. It doesn't always have to end up off on one side.
Okay.
And you can do that by using your drift button. Do you ever use your power slide button at all?
I do. I had it on square, but it Spuds told me it was better to put it on R1, which I have paddles, so it's kind of weird, like, to hold my index finger on the power slide and then I have to let go of it and then put my finger back on the drive button. So I think I might switch it back to square. I don't know what the best keybind is for me yet, but I do power slide as much as possible.
Yeah, I think Spuds kind of left you in the right direction right there, because I have mine on my paddle, which is kind of binding to my LB, so it's binding to my left bumper. But in reality, I can change that in my controller settings. I just don't know how right now. But technically, I have two arrow buttons on one button, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But as for now, just keep it at that. I always tell this to everybody, right? Like, most people in Champ right now have their power slide button set to X or square if you're on PS4. And that is okay, but you know, once you start getting into the higher ranks like Champ 3, GC, GC2 area, a lot of those people there do not have it set as X anymore. They have it set to a more comfortable button. That way they have more room to, you know, either press, you know, their jump button or their boost button, right? If they're still set to A or B or
yeah,
X or circle, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, doing stuff like learning stuff like that early is gonna help you out a lot. Like, I have a friend right now who is GC1, and he is having a really hard time switching to the arrow, or I mean not the arrow, the drift button on his LB, right? Because he's always been used to X. So make sure that you learn, you know, things that are going to help you off the start better than rather than learning it on later on in your Rocket League career, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just make sure that you keep that as that. I know it may suck for a while, but, and this is a good word of advice to everybody, like, if you learn this, it's going to help you out so much easier than if you were like later on, because then you're going to have to switch everything up and how you do it. And if you're at his rank right now, when I say his, I mean Dope Luna's, if you're at his rank right now, you know, make sure that you're getting comfortable with your controls and that you're using controls that are going to help you in the future rather than set you back when you have to eventually go and learn them. I feel that, like, this also goes for another thing too, Luna. Like, what's your air roll set to?
I have left air roll set to square. I don't have right air roll assigned.
You have a left air roll set to square. So honestly, that's all preference, but honestly, if I were you, I don't know why that's set to that. That's kind of weird, in my opinion. I think maybe you're better off like putting it at like a left bumper, whatever works for you, I guess, as long as it's comfortable to you and you feel like it's gonna be able to help you in the future, keep it at that. But like I said, my arrow is set to the same button as my drift button, right? So I have mine set to LB, my left arrow, and my power slide button.
Okay.
But then I also have a non-directional arrow, so I can like change either directions like this.
Gotcha.
Or like if I only had left arrow, right, I can only go in one direction. So I think that if you're gonna do anything, especially right now in the pro scene, like a lot of them are finally finding out that like, hey, you know, non-directional arrow is way better than like left or right arrow, unless like you're a freestyler, right? Like the left or right arrow really doesn't have preciseness like the non-directional does, because I can do this with my car, right? But I can't. It's really hard to do that with, you know, unless you don't have left and right arrow at the same time.
Right? Are you using your toggle stick to do non-directional arrow? What's your key set or your controller?
That's a good question. I was just about to bring that up. So my non-directional arrow is actually set to my LT, so my left trigger, which is also my reverse button. But if you're in air, you can't reverse, right? So it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. That makes that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
So like I can still drive forward and hold down, you know, LT, but if I'm in air, you can't reverse in air unless you're flying backwards like this, right? So it doesn't really matter that much as long as it works for you. That's all that matters. And you can obviously set your arrow buttons to whatever you want, but if I were you and I was in your situation, I would honestly just put my arrow button as the same button as my drift is. That way, while I'm trying to, like, you know, jump up off the wall or something, I don't accidentally press my square button or whatever your button is, right? To arrow first and then accidentally like flip up off the wall or something, because I try to keep my A and B, which is, you know, boost and jump, off to the side. That way I know, you know, I'm not gonna end up running into issues where I'm like accidentally like flipping somehow or messing up on my aerials, right?
Right.
And another thing too is, you know, your aerial sensitivity and stuff like that can also be adjusted as, you know, to whatever you need it to be. So like mine's this right now, right? Okay. I just recently turned my steering and aerial up. It used to be like at 117 and then this one used to be at 127, but I turned them both up to like this, and it's helped me a little bit more. It's made me feel like I'm a little faster. And if you don't understand this, your steering sensitivity, the higher you go up, the more sensitive it's gonna be. So like if you, let's just say you don't find yourself being able to turn right, and you have your dead zone, your controller dead zone right here, set to this low, right? And you just find yourself not being able to turn. They have a different setting in the game called steering sensitivity, which is right here. And the higher you go up with that, the more easier it is to be able to turn, right?
Gotcha, okay.
Another thing too is your aerial sensitivity. It's how sensitive your car is in air when you're like moving around. So like, if I had this all the way up to, like, here, I'll give an example, right? I'll turn this all the way up to like 10, which you'd never want to just, like, I can't even like control my car that much anymore. Like, I literally cannot control my car. That's like, I go up for like, dude, like I have no control at all if I do that. Like, it's so hard. But if you end up being able to play on something like that, you're crazy. But just for now, try to keep it at like, you know, 1.5 to 2, because that's like what most pros follow, and other things like that as well. So but yeah,
is it good to keep the steering and the air steering at around the same?
Yeah, like I said, it's preference. Whatever you find easier to play on. You know, you can obviously adjust these anytime you need. And I probably will adjust mine again eventually, but as for now, it's just set to this.
Gotcha, okay.
And then the last thing, if you don't know what dodge dead zone is, right, it's how far you have to press in your stick before you're allowed to flip. So like, if I was to jump here, right, and not move my stick, obviously I'm not moving forward, right?
Yeah.
But if I hold my stick all the way forward, right, it allows me to flip forward. And like, depending on how brand new your controller is or how long of use you've had on your controller, will depend on what that number needs to be at. So it's all just playing around with it. Like recently I just got new sticks and I have mine set to low just because that's just how I always play. But if you have an older controller and the sticks are like all worn out and everything, that number should be higher because you're gonna have a more hard time going up for an aerial and then you just immediately backflip, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like the whole thing I wanted to give you a rundown on there, and I hope that was helpful to anybody who else is watching as well. Just make sure you have your settings set to whatever is comfortable for you. And I definitely recommend using the non-directional arrow, as you know, it'll help you with precision on shots and anything else that you're trying to do.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
But if you want to go ahead and go back into your replay here.
Okay.
Alright, and then go ahead and play it. So yeah, if I were you for the starts though, I know we kind of got off topic there, but your starts, I would just implement a flip and try to keep as much boost as I can at the start for now until you're comfortable with that entirely and you don't mess up on it at all. And then eventually later on I'll show you how to do a diagonal kickoff and like where like you implement a flip and use arrow at the same time kind of. But as for now, just try to get used to doing a flip within your kickoff and stop doing that habit where you just use all your boost at the start and then have nothing left. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Alright, cool. No, weird that you were lagging the whole time, even in the replay too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, probably different outcome without the lag, but you know it happens sometimes. Oh well.
Yeah, and it's probably because you were streaming too as well.
I know for a fact I would have definitely touched that aerial right there.
Yeah, I won't comment on that. Just when you go for aerials, make sure you're either doing a double jump aerial or you're, you know, which is called like a fast aerial, right? Like if you do a fast aerial, you know how to do that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it just makes sure like if the ball's a little higher like that, you're just trying to clear it up as easy as possible.
That was a good try, huh?
I think the last thing I would have for you on this replay is your clears. A lot of them are kind of weak considering like that one was, you know what I'm saying? That one right back to him. And you got scored on because of it.
Right.
Maybe try, I'll like I said, I'll provide you like training packs and everything that you could use to help benefit you on those.
Okay.
And everybody else will get those in the description as well. I put them in pretty much every one of my videos. But yeah, just try to work on your clears because the more better clears you have, the harder it's gonna be for the other team to defend. And they're gonna be like, if you clear it downfield right and they're both up, they all have to go back and get the ball rather than what you just did where you passed it off the corner of the wall and he was already there waiting for you.
Yeah.
Because he pretty much knew that you're gonna do that anyways. This rank is that for a reason.
Alright, I got another good question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the best spot on the car to get those like gnarly clears? Is it the front? Is it the corner of the car? Where's the best spot? Like the sweet spot?
Yeah, so like that's a good question too as well. But there's a pretty general answer for that as well. So like if you go back to my stream, right? You look at me.
Watching.
So if you see where my car is, right? Let me back up out of this boost area. So do you see like the left corner of my car?
Okay.
Or the right corner of my shit. Mixed up here. Technically the left if you're looking at it from this camera angle.
Right.
But if you see like the left of the car, right? You always want to try at least hit the ball with that, and that goes to the other side as well. They're both equal sides, right? So just try to always hit the ball with the corner of your car, And then the back also works for that too as well. The back has similar features to that. So like right here, right? If I'm just this is like a perfect example right here. So if I just, you know, am driving into the ball, right? And I just flip at it, right? It's not really gonna go anywhere, right? Like that went pretty slow. But like if I hit it like this, right? See how much more faster it is if I use the corner of my car?
Yeah.
And the more you get used to it, the easier it is, but it does take a while to learn how to hit it like that. Normally when someone hits it with the front of their car like that, they're either one, going for a freestyle, or two, getting like a certain setup for their teammates or something like that. So it just depends on the use of it, but and how hard you need to hit it. But generally, just hit it with the corner of your car and you should be okay.
Okay.
So, yep, that's pretty much that on power order.
And then another thing is when is the best time to launch the ball, like clear it, and other than like just getting possession of the ball, like stopping the ball and then getting control over it, you know what I mean?
Can you give me an example?
So like, say if there's like two defenders coming, right, and I had the ball coming towards me, am I gonna clear that, or am I just gonna take am I just gonna like have the ball hit my car, slow the ball down, and then get control over the ball, or am I better off just clearing it downfield on their side?
Well, it depends on where they are on the field too as well. So like if they're both like, let's just say they're both like right here, right? One guy's here and then the other guy's like over here, right?
Yeah.
You obviously want to just get a fucking like boom on that shit, because honestly if they're both right there, I'm just gonna hit right over both of them, right?
Right.
So unless like you have one, right, that's coming at you, and then his teammate, let's just say the one's like right here coming at you, and then his teammate's all the way back here getting boost or something, then yes, you want to take your time with it a little bit more. And what I like to do, especially like in ones, because it works out a lot in ones, and twos too as well, is something called like an empty flick. I don't know if I can do it with this car right now though. I might have to get the octane to show you here. Kind of suck with this car right now, but so this is something called like an empty flick, right? Yeah, I might have to get the octane to show you here. Let me try it one more time for you. I just got this car today, so I'm still trying to get used to it.
I did too.
So let's just say, right, like I have it on top of my car, and go for something called like an empty flick. You see how it's still you see like I still have possession of the ball.
Right.
So that's something kind of like just like a easy or empty flick. Pretty much, if you do that just to get that over the first guy, or maybe even just like flick it at the wall or something, you can do that as well. Like, right, flick it at the wall, you get over the first guy. All you have is his teammate left, right? You can maybe just do something like this, right? Obviously with more power, but that's how you would get it past the second guy if you had that option.
Okay.
And there's other ways to do it as well. Like, you know, let's just say, right, his teammate comes and challenges you. You can, you know, flip it up, do like a backflip at it, right? That works sometimes. And then get his last teammate with just like a simple flick or something, whatever it calls for, you know?
Okay.
So yeah, I think maybe practicing empty flicks would be more beneficial to you. Just, you know, so you can keep the control of the ball.
Okay.
But yeah.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yep.
On God, I'm hitting that too. I swear I'm hitting that.
I think maybe
I
you
could have scored that. That could have been a goal, right?
Yeah, you definitely could have jumped there, even if you were lagging. That was still definitely scoreable, or maybe even clear it against their side corner there. Oh no, yeah, same thing at the start there. I think the main things, if you're gonna work on something right now, it's gonna be your kickoffs and the way that let me see. What else can you work on? and your boost management for now. I think those are the two
Okay.
things. If you work on those, and maybe some shooting on the side, you're gonna see yourself at least go up 1 or 2 ranks, depending on, you know, how fast you learn it and how long it takes you.
Okay.
But we'll, like I said, we'll connect at a later date, and we'll see how much you've improved. And if you are totally used to, you know, doing a regular flip at the kickoff, then we'll get you into diagonal kickoffs, and then eventually a speed flip, which really isn't needed up until like GC 1 or 2.
Yeah, I like doing the speed flips though, because it always beats everyone and everyone that I'm playing against. When I do it right, it's always funny because I'm just like the ball's already way on their court before they even have a chance to get to midfield.
And there's a lot of kickoffs. There's not just one. There's like tons. Like it depends on what your mode you're playing too as well. There's Spanish. There's, you know, 1 for 3s where you say, hey, back right or back left, and you can do that in 2s as well. But where you like purposely lose the kickoff to your teammate, that way they can easily have possession of it. There's like, you know, a slap butt, which is like where you keep it right in the middle at the start, your teammate cheats up and, you know, takes a shot on their net. There's a lot of kickoffs that you can do. It just depends on what mode you're playing. Like for ones, like the 2 most common ones, right, is where people are doing like a speed flip or a fake kickoff, right, where they'll go up for it and then they'll turn back and then the person will hit the ball to them. So there's just a lot of different options that you could do, and yeah, that's pretty much the main ones that you see. There's obviously some other ones that people do, but the ones are kind of pointless.
I also need to figure out how to control my car when I'm doing this these air rolls.
Yeah, and you'll get used to it. I think the best way to do it is to go around in training and just fly around for a little while. And I'll give you an example here just to show you what I mean by that.
Alright, I'm looking at your stream real quick.
So right, get 100 boost. Turn on the unlimited boost option, right? And then you just jump from the other end, right? And just practice using your air roll. And then once you get totally used to that, then you can start doing other things, right? And I show this to everybody. So like you can like stop in the middle, right? Go up off the ceiling, get like a flip, right? And then, you know, do it again.
Okay.
And then once you get like totally used to that, one other thing you can do is learning it going up off the back of the net and doing it this way, right?
Okay.
You know, you still have your flip right there as well. And then there's like side goalie ones where you can like go off the sides of the net. This is where everyone always has trouble, like going up off the sides here. You always want to try to hit that corner, that way you're at the highest peak of the net. And then you can always just try to like land back in here like this.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, I'll definitely have to practice that.
But yeah, just doing stuff like that, you'll get used to your air roll. Just give it time. Trust me, you're not going to get it right away. Just like with the power slide thing, you won't get that right away. But the more you use it, the more less foreign it becomes to you.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. I appreciate all the help. Yeah, I recommend the coaching. If anybody in the YouTube video is always looking for somebody, I recommend this 100%.
Heck yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Like I said, eventually, you know, if you're still down, we'll do a month coaching. But as for now, I can't really do it because I'm on a grind right now and I have other things.
Yeah, absolutely, totally understandable.
But
it's totally understandable, brother.
Other than that, dude, do you have any other questions for me that I can try to answer? I'll also send you the notes and the shot packs and stuff like that here at the end.
Yeah, I think I got nine bullet points of notes to look at and review over and keep practicing. So I think everything's straightforward. So I'll just have to keep on practicing.
Can you tell me the 2 things I told you to work on?
Oh yeah, boost management and kickoffs.
I just want to make sure you were listening. Alright, well, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I will talk to you soon. And
sweet, brother.
If you're watching and enjoyed, I will see all of you guys later.
Peace.
So.